Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Around the Table GTA. This episode is actually the long awaited anniversary episode of the podcast. So it's been a little bit over a year. Originally, I did start on SoundCloud. I think it was December 2020. And then I moved the platform over more to YouTube and other streaming platforms as well around March. No, not March. It was February, March, whatever. Either way, it's been a year plus on this podcast. And, we've covered a lot of things. We've been growing. We're still here. It hasn't died out like a lot of my other projects. And once again, I know I'm saying this in a lot of the videos, sound bits, whatever you want to classify them as. Thank you. Thank you for the support, whether it's visible support with likes, comments, feedback, or invisible support where you guys are sharing this and other people are finding it. We actually did hit a record, and I addressed it in an older episode, where people are actually now finding it in their recommendations and coming across the podcast through like recommendations, or when you're on YouTube and there's stuff on the right side hand, it's just related content. And that's all thanks to you guys. That's for you guys just supporting and watching it, whether it's the whole podcast episode, whether it's a minute, whether it's the whole thing, whether it's halfway through watching bits, and that's brought me a lot of joy. Just going back to the roots of the podcast, I've always had the idea of doing a podcast. It's been going on like 12 plus years. I could even say maybe even 14 years. It's just the drive and the consequences of what happened in 2020 that kind of pushed me to start this platform. And even though everybody and their mom is doing a podcast now, it doesn't matter, because we have to have that abundance mindset where it doesn't matter if there's so many other people doing it. All that matters is if you're doing what you want to do and you're putting your passion and your work into it. Some people say that comparison is like, I don't even remember the quote, but it's talking about how comparison like robs you of happiness. I think it's like comparison is a robber of happiness, where once you compare yourself, or if you continuously compare yourself to other people or things, you're never going to be happy. And that's a truth that is there, but at the same time, competition also can strive for innovation as well. And yeah, that's it. It doesn't matter if it's a no-name podcast now. It could be bigger later, but at the end of the day, it's what you're passionate about, and if it makes you happy, you keep doing it, right? One friend was talking about how you go to a grocery store or whatever retailer store that you have. There's not one juice brand, there's not one water brand, there's not one bread brand. There's so many people doing the exact same thing, and it's just what's your flavor, and that's it. That's where the spark came from, and I've been going at it ever since. And with your support, even though I don't like, none of it's been financial. I'm not getting any donations. I'm not getting ad revenue or anything like that. But just the small comments or the views spiking up somehow, it's great. And I'm gonna keep doing this while I could still do it, while I have the ideas, while I have the energy, while I have the motivation. Because I think with the podcast, we're spreading more good in the world. And I think with how everything's going on and what people are focusing on, it's also changing the world. And I think if people were to focus on the better things, the lighter things, the things that we can do to prove ourselves, then there'd be more positive change, right? Because it's one thing that I like to focus on, and I truly do believe, it starts at home. So if you could be a certain way at home, you're always going to be happy. And you have to make that change, whether it's in your house, whether it's at your workplace, whether it's in your friend group. You have to be the change that starts everything. There's a game called The World Ends With You, and I agree, where the world does end with you, but it also starts with you. Any revolutionary, any changer, any person who thought outside of the box, they were alone until they got their support, or even if they didn't get their support. Like, there's people like Van Gogh who is poor all his life and never acknowledged for his art, but after his death, so many people know his name, and unfortunately he passed before he could be truly appreciated. And that's a lot of things that people don't kind of think about. It's just like, you want to be appreciated now. Well, whether you're appreciated now or later, the thing is, if your message is that deep, if your change is going to be that great, whether you're there to see it progress or not shouldn't really matter. And that's just my thought on that. Ever since I started the podcast, there's been a lot of up and downs, and that's just how life is. And I'm going to keep it going either way. You guys are going to be surprised with the amount of content that's going to come out. And I always talk about stuff like that, but I had kind of like a revelation, and just with how certain things are going on, I felt like I've been limiting myself. So I'm doubling down on the things that I do enjoy, and starting to do a hard focus on the things that I want to achieve and what I think is good for me, especially with a lot of other things that are going on. But I'm going to save those for better episodes, or just for a core episode topic. With the future of the podcast, I'm going to change some processes. Like, there's been times where I'm literally laying in bed and I have like a podcast episode running through my head, where the thought process of everything is going there, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to say this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and it's all lined up, and it's just like a dream. As soon as you get out of bed, and if you don't write down anything, it's all gone. So it kind of went away with the wind. Even like my process of keeping everything together is very archaic, in the sense where, we're in an age where you could do voice notes, and you could just type stuff on your computer, and you could even write in a notebook. I always use scrap paper, and I just jot random things down. Even like with this core episode here, because it's an anniversary episode. This episode is supposed to be impactful, I guess, right? Or it's supposed to be good. But I kind of just jotted a couple of things that I wanted to focus on. And a lot of the episodes that I do, it's just off the top of the dome. I'll have the topic there, right? Let's say like a future episode that's coming up is Cemented Views, which strive from a conversation that I had with a friend who's also going to be a potential guest on a future episode if things work out. Yeah, I just wrote that down, and I'll have a bunch of ideas around that topic. But when I do an episode, I usually just try to think of what the title will be and focus on that. So maybe I might put the title and put more notes, just so it's a little bit more streamlined, so it doesn't get too obtuse or a little bit out there. If you've heard an episode recently, there's either background music or intro music. That's something new that's going to be happening. And then sometimes you'll have episodes like this where it's just me talking, because sometimes even like how I took it, like it could be overstimulating. So I'm talking and you're hearing like this music. But I also want to tackle other things. Like I said online, I might do a conspiracy series, so you guys could check that out, and that will probably have different intro music, and also like different background music to change the vibe of the episode. Kind of like how they do in movies where, they'll have like the weepy music, which is kind of corny. Like, I still think certain stuff like that is corny. I wouldn't say like movies wise, but like, those like TikTok videos or those motivational videos where they put the really sappy music. I'm not gonna push the sap, maybe like intensity for like fear or something, but the sap, that stuff really just makes me want to just turn off the video, or like I'm not even gonna watch this, or I'm not even gonna listen to this, even if, or I'll just mute it so I can take the content, because I feel like that's a different form of manipulation. But I'll keep that to the conspiracy episodes. Yeah, also I'm going to be doing a giveaway. It's going to be a tier based giveaway. So basically I have 3 things here. I have headphones, I have a wireless charger, and I also have wireless headphones. So if this video gets 25 views, because we're 5 views gang, I'm gonna be giving away the headphones. If it reaches 50 views, I'm going to be giving away the wireless headphones. And if it reaches at least 100 views, then I'll be giving away the wireless charger. To enter the contest, you just have to leave a comment, share the video, whether you leave a comment on Instagram or on YouTube, then this will be there. This episode and this part of the episode will only be on the YouTube platform. So if you're hearing this on YouTube, then that's it. You won't be hearing this anywhere else. I don't even think I'm gonna upload this on any other platform. Maybe the 2-year anniversary episode, I'll have it everywhere else. But this episode is a YouTube exclusive. So if you guys are interested in that, hopefully you listen to the whole video so that you could actually hear that this giveaway is going to be there. But I'm also going to post it on Instagram, because I don't want it to be like a secret viewer thing. But maybe this might help the engagement as well. But there's like a lot of stuff that I bought over the pandemic that I don't want, or I've been given that I don't want or need, and I'm trying to clean up some clutter. And this stuff isn't bad stuff. Like the wireless charger, it's for iPhone X and up, or actually no, iPhone 8, iPhone X, iPhone XR, iPhone XS. If you're an Android user, Galaxy Note 9, Galaxy S9 or S9 Plus, or anything that's QI enabled. So yeah, if you're interested, just keep sharing the content, especially if you like it. This is just another incentive to spread the news and help the podcast grow. And ultimately, guys, thanks for everything. You've motivated me to be more of a light in the world. It's easy to get down. It's easy to be upset. It's easy to see yourself as a victim, but ultimately, at the end of the day, we all have our goals. We do have the ideal life that we want to live, and it starts with you, right? If you could be a change in your life, you could show people that you don't have to live a certain way. You don't have to think a different way or a certain way. You don't have to necessarily even be normal in that sense, but your actions do affect others, and you need to know that you have that power to influence people, and hopefully use those powers to do good in your own lives, the lives of others, and the lives of people that interact with you. Anyways, thank you guys for checking out another episode, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.